Let me quickly introduce my guest from our Abuja studio, Mr. Niyi Akinseju. He's the chairman of the Buhari Media Support Group, and I have Mr. Frank Shoaibu. He's a media advisor to the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the program today. Let me perhaps begin with you, Mr. Shoaibu. You said, your party said that the postponement of the election is an orchestrated plans of the APC. What does your party mean by that?
Well, thank you, Sean. And while I sympathize with Mr. Egini, because what he just did now is what INEC should have done a long time ago. Voter education is very key to our electoral process. And I'm shocked that he's doing it after our election is supposed to have been conducted. It's a belated exercise. And it's part of the disenfranchisement process we are talking about. There is a department for voter education. There is somebody who is mandated to do this job at the level of INEC. But I'm shocked that he's doing this now, you know, in the middle of the race. But it's not a problem. It's better late than ever. Well, our party stated clearly that it is a calculated attempt to rig the elections, especially by the ruling party. And we clearly stated our reasons. You remember vividly before the 16th, on the 15th, we issued a press statement, which I personally authored, signed, where we revealed to the world results of our findings that a particular contractor for INEC is a candidate in the election that was supposed to hold on the 16th. Is the senatorial candidate of the APC in Niger East in Zone B in Nigeria. And for such a person, who is the MD CEO of Activate Technologies, he's the one who was given the contract to print PVCs for our country, for the electoral process. He has about 5 different companies. Apart from Activate Technologies, there's First Pacific Limited Supplies. He has the Pacific Compute Services. Then he has Sensitive Logistics, all registered, and these are all the companies used for printing of ballot papers, upgrading of card readers, and as well as the printing of PVCs. Now, I put it to Mr. Egini and to Nigerians, a card-carrying member of the APC in charge of supply and printing of sensitive electoral materials. This result I'm putting to the world today is a product of our intelligence network. But I want to ask, assuming but not considering that there are no rules that forecloses him to proceed with such a contract, shouldn't morality, decency take precedence in this kind of issue? Can a child be the one to mark her examination script? Does it not amount to that? How would a man who is a participant in an electoral process be the one to supply, produce, print sensitive electoral materials? That alone was a signal, a clear signal to us that the process was, there were plans to compromise the process. Because the person who will run election as a senatorial candidate of a ruling party, obviously we know him that he has close associates of the leading political party. 2, remember vividly that the game plan, when we picked intelligence, on the night of the postponement, we were all awake till 3 a.m. before the INEC chairman announced that. We commend him for the bravery. We commend all the commissioners for their bravery, for resisting what would have befallen Nigeria on that night. Would have been what we call a partial postponement, where elections would have been held in about 26 states. All right,
and Mr. Shoaibu, let's allow Mr. Akinseju. Let's allow Mr. Akinseju to come in here. Mr. Akinseju, there are a lot of allegations, part of which is the issue of how the security architecture was changed in the police, and how the PDP is saying your party is working against the opposition, and this allegation is also coming. How does a nation or a people go into an election where the ruling party is being blamed or has been drawn into some of this issue, and the main opposition is feeling unsafe and not fairly treated in a case as this?
The main opposition party is playing the wolf, and it has been doing this as a prank, you know, over the last so many months. So much to the extent that we only relate with them, you know, as comics. They do things without substance. We know that what they are doing is to just go on the offensive by playing victim. If you had no plan to rig election, please, what informs your appointing or selecting or employing a former INEC chairman as your technical consultant on election? Professor Maurice Uwu specifically. And then, is it not also a moral burden when you make such appointments? Because for a person in the class of Professor Maurice Uwu, who actually conducted what is known today as the worst election in the history of Nigeria, to be a technical consultant on election for the PDP, and of course for the PDP presidential candidate, it tells so much about the intention of the PDP going into that election in the first instance. Now, if you also start talking about movement of security and all that, the responsibility for security architecture is within the purview and confines of the president, you know, and that will be done, you know, as directed by the IG. So what the IG has done is appropriate, and it is just like the relationship the president has with the INEC. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has parted, how do I want to put that, broken ranks with what has been happening historically when PDP presidents were there. He had shown that he could allow the INEC to be independent and function independently of him. And that is why the president was not even aware of this. And there was any intervention, you know, from the president on this matter.
Let me quickly, let's tackle this issue. Quickly, your reaction to the postponement. The PDP says they will resume campaigns. Will the APC resume campaign in your case?
We don't need to go around. Don't forget that we have concluded campaigns. We went to 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. The PDP could not make it, so I will not blame them if they have to resume or if they desire to resume campaign. We are more serious. We are more strategic. When we do things, we do it seriously. Our presidential candidate was in all the 36 states, plus the FCT. They could not, so perhaps they want to make up. And of course, it tells you to how laggard, you know, the PDP is.
All right. Mr. Shaibu, if you,
as a matter of fact, believe.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Shaibu, your party says you are resuming campaign, and that your party has come out to say whatever INEC's guidelines may look like, that the overall, the ground norm is powerful than the INEC guidelines. Why are you going to go against what INEC says?
The guidelines are clear and unambiguous. That campaigns should stop 48 hours before the election, before any election. If they have shifted the elections, they postpone the elections due to reasons, owing to reasons they call logistic reasons. And for us, the party hierarchy will direct accordingly. But the question is, it has nothing to do with our not concluding our campaigns. What the APC went around to do the 36 states of the Federation was just a jamboree. They went on a valedictory session. The president went to tell the people goodbye. It was not a campaign. They cannot point out one campaign where the president sold any campaign policy or even reminded or made one coherent, legible, coherent sentence to the people. Sensible sentence to the people. So it is not about going visiting 36 states or the Federation. He could go, he was on a jamboree. We were going on issue-based campaign, educating the people that we're going to create jobs, put food on the table, provide adequate security for the people of Nigeria. And for us, it's about quality service, about jobs, jobs. And we tell the people, if you got...
All right, just a moment. Let me allow Mr. Mikey Guinea to close for us on the program tonight. Our final words, we have less than a minute to close the program. A lot of questions, but we don't have time. Right. Our final word on the integrity, the sanctity of the ballot, and the protection of the process.
I want to assure Nigerians that our commitment to ensure that we give meaning and purpose to the ballot as the best means of expressing the will of the people in a democracy is unwavering. And that is why one of the things I wanted to demonstrate here is that on election day, and part of response to the two gentlemen, is that voters' education is a multi-stakeholder responsibility. Everybody who has watched me over time, I've been doing this, and most of my colleagues, they're also doing the same thing across the country. But it's not enough. We still going to do so. Now, if you look at this tamper-proof, we have developed this tamper-proof over time and improved on it. And that Nigerians must, and particularly party agents, must insist on that. And what the tamper-proof is all about, it is to ensure that after the end of the poll, the ballot papers must be put in the tamper-proof envelope. There are two envelopes, all right, because we must see the process as being functus official. You cannot touch the ballot paper again except court by court. But the other form, a tamper-proof, that's why we are going to put the form EC 8A.
All right.
All right? This is the procedure you are going to see.
Thank you
but
so much.
In the final analysis, I must have to show you this. This is to demonstrate that out of the 14 stages, who are those really responsible for the conduct of election? The outcome of any election in any country is a reflection of the values of the people. INEC and at the local government level. From SPO down to the last level, INEC we are not up to 19,000. Every election is a reflection of the value of the people. Majority of the people conduct the election in Nigeria, they are the Nigerian people.
Mr.
And not even those who work in
we must go. I wish that we had more time to talk about this, but I guess Nigerians do appreciate. And for those who are not paying for this kind of education, we must sincerely thank you, Mr. Igini, for coming on. Mr. Shuaibu, many thanks for coming. And Mr. Akinshiju, unfortunately, not so much time to talk about some of the issues. But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Shaw Kimale. Bye-bye.